2 years ago, I lost both legs in an accident. Yan Xingxuan not only did not despise me, but also promised to be my legs and take me anywhere I want to go. I not only love him, but also feel grateful to him. We held a grand wedding in front of many witnesses. Until Yan Xingxuan won the championship this time, I went to the city where he competed alone to give him a surprise. As a result, I saw him leaning on Hao Yibei's neck and lingering with her, in the face of my questioning. He pretended to persuade me to go back to the hotel, but he and Hao Yibei strangled me to death in the bathtub and falsified my cause of death as suicide. When I was dying, he gently comforted Hao Yibei. "Baby, it's okay, everything is over." Hao Yibei burst into tears. If she died 2 years ago, would you not have to marry her?" When I woke up again, I returned to this day. The lively celebration banquet was still going on. I put the celebratory bouquet outside the door and slid my wheelchair away quietly. 3 years later, I was cooking at home, and when Yan Xingxuan came home, the meals should be ready. Yan Xingxuan had a 2-month vacation after this competition. He lived up to everyone's expectations and won the championship of the national championship. At the moment of winning the championship, he ran to the stage to hug Hao Yibei. If there was no national live broadcast, I have no doubt that they would kiss unscrupulously. At 7:40, the doorbell rang and I opened the door. It was not unexpected or not. In addition to Yan Xingxuan, Hao Yibei and a 5-year-old boy were standing outside the door. Yan Xingxuan first said to Hao Yibei and the little boy caringly, "It's windy outside, come in quickly." Then he told me, Yibei's parents have returned to their hometown, and she and Anan are afraid to live in the same house. So they come to our house to stay for a while. Hao Yibei is also on the track and field team. Because of her beautiful and youthful appearance, she is known as the goddess of track and field. Hao Yibei squatted down and changed his shoes naturally, and said to Anan, "Anan, call me auntie." Anan lowered his head to play with the Transformers toy, glanced at the empty lower body under my blanket, and muttered, "Ugly, legless monster, so disgusting." I was stunned. Hao Yibei pretended to hit Anan on the back of the head, but was stopped by Yan Xingxuan. He said, "Anan is still young. Children's words are not taboo. Children's words are not taboo, right?" Even though I no longer have any expectations for him, I still can't help but feel a chill in my heart. When I brought the meal to the table, Yan Xingxuan and Hao Yibei were huddled on the sofa watching the highlights of the game together, and Anan jumped around beside them, shouting at mom and dad non-stop. After a long time, Yan Xingxuan explained to me, Anan has been without a father since childhood, and he is used to being called that in the team. Hao Yibei also added, "Sister, you don't mind, do you?" The two sat upright on the sofa, speaking in a relaxed tone as if they were chatting casually. As if my rebuttal would be unreasonable, 3 words slowly flowed out from my teeth: "I don't mind." Only a coward like me would not become a thorn in their eyes and flesh that they couldn't wait to remove. After dinner, I returned to the second bedroom and climbed onto the bed with difficulty. It has been 5 years since the car accident, but every time the weather is damp and cold, I still feel a piercing pain in my lower body. At night, the sound coming from the master bedroom is surprisingly loud, as if it was deliberately made for me to hear. "Xingxuan, you are so awesome. I like you the most. Are you a fox? You are so attractive that I can't stop. Say you love me, Xingxuan. I need you to love me. Who else can I love besides you? Little goblin, I am really tortured to death by you." Thinking of the few times I shared a room with Yan Xingxuan in these years, he seemed to have never had a moment of enjoyment. Yes, it is hard to get interested in a broken body like mine, so later he didn't even act anymore, and showed great disgust when he touched nothingness from the waist down. I also chose to sleep in a separate room from him after I couldn't stand that look. I was in a trance and returned to that afternoon when I was on the verge of death. The two of them hugged each other affectionately beside my body, and my dead white pupils told of unwillingness. They have become more and more unscrupulous in front of me in these years, and I am always on guard against the recurrence of the past. But fortunately, this nightmare is about to come to an end. Early in the morning, my door was knocked. Bang bang bang. I didn't sleep all night last night and I had a headache. Before I could react, Yan Xingxuan opened the door. He frowned and said, "Why haven't you gotten up yet? We are all hungry." Anan was clamoring behind him, "I want to eat, I want to eat." I prepared dinner for them. Seeing Hao Yibei's exquisite outfit and carefully painted makeup, I asked uncertainly, "Are you going out?" My question seemed to hit the nail on the head for Hao Yibei. She fiddled with her freshly permed hair. "Xingxuan's friends said there would be a 2-on-2 couples party. It's not convenient for you to go, so I'll do it for you. I can't really let them think that I have no desires or demands. I looked at Yan Xingxuan and showed a look of grievance appropriately. Maybe I have pretended well enough over the years, and he didn't suspect anything. Just thought I was still deeply in love with him. He avoided my eyes and only said, "Take good care of Anan." I acted even more reluctant. "Then will you come back for lunch at noon?" Yan Xingxuan was already impatient, so I didn't ask any more questions. As soon as Howie Bei stepped out of the room with her branded bag on her back, she said without hesitation, "You are really addicted to being a nanny." Yan Xingxuan touched her hair with a smile on his face. "Don't worry about her. Isn't it good to have someone to serve her?" Looking at their backs as they left, I was a little disappointed. Anan, who had been playing games with his head down, suddenly raised his head and found that Yan Xingxuan and Howie Bei had left. He cried and asked them to come back. Seeing that I ignored him, he started to act like a demon, jumping up and down and crying, scratching the furniture with a knife, breaking the precious porcelain, and knocking the TV to the ground. I coaxed him with food and tempted him with toys, but he was like a little devil, and he continued to do the same thing after eating and playing. Until the afternoon, he was finally tired and quieted down. It was obvious that I was relieved. And he immediately became motivated again and rushed from the living room to the balcony. The flowers that I took good care of were all pulled out by him, and the petals were scattered all over the floor. He still felt it was not enough, and grinned and crushed them into mud with his feet. After I woke up again, I survived many days and nights by relying on these flowers, watching them grow towards the sun with nobility and perseverance. I felt that life was not so sad and unbearable. I desperately wanted to save them, just like saving the weak and helpless me at the beginning, but I was not as flexible as Anan, and he escaped from my control in a few moves, seeing that I was powerless. He became even more arrogant, and when I was not paying attention, he poured all the water for watering the flowers on me, saying as he ran, "You ugly freak without legs, so disgusting, and you want to steal my dad, go to hell." Just then, Yan Xingxuan and Howie Bei came back. And Anan immediately changed his face and rushed to Yan Xingxuan crying, "Dad, Auntie beat me, I'm scared, she still doesn't want to give me food, Dad, I'm so hungry." At the end of November, I was on the balcony with cold wind, and the water on my body seemed to have turned into frost. I wanted to explain, but I felt that there was nothing to explain at all. Howie Bei rushed towards me with her eyebrows raised. She slapped me and cursed, "Who gave you the face to bully my son? You bully my son. How dare you not give him food, you bitch." The room was extremely noisy, and Anne's sharp cries, slaps, harsh dirty words. Only Yan Xingxuan stood quietly, watching coldly. And the look he gave me was not much better than looking at a stranger. Yes, 5 years ago, if it wasn't for helping Howie Bei settle the drunk driving scandal, he wouldn't have to know me at all. He wouldn't have to endure the pain of giving up his love and marrying a disabled person like me. Until Howie Bei ran towards him with pity. "Xingxuan, my son has been bullied. What do you say?" Yan Xingxuan said coldly, "Just let her stay on the balcony. When she admits her mistake, she can come in." His words hurt more than those countless slaps. I unconsciously thought of the time when we just met. I was lying on the hospital bed. My heart was full of fear and confusion about the future. He gently peeled an apple for me, looked into my eyes and said, "When you are well, I will take you to the mountains, rivers, lakes and seas." He also showed me the video of his competition. But he who was striving and enterprising on the track was completely different from the arrogant and cold-blooded him now. Howie Bei still felt unsatisfied and said coquettishly, "What kind of punishment is this? I think she should take off all her clothes and let her reflect on herself on the balcony." I opened my eyes wide. The distance between the buildings in this community is not far, and it was in broad daylight. Although Yan Xingxuan frowned, he still acquiesced to Howie Bei's behavior. Watching Howie Bei coming over, I had no strength to resist her. My clothes were peeled off one by one, and my shame was exposed before my body. My self-esteem and personality were shattered to the ground. The cold wind was biting, like a dense knife scraping my skin. I tried to hold myself, but it was no use. I could even imagine that someone was watching, someone was laughing, and someone was holding up a mobile phone to take pictures not far away. My body couldn't stand the tossing. Especially in such cold weather, I felt a dampness coming from under my buttocks. I tried to cover myself up in fear, but Howie Bei, who was still watching the fun, pulled me away. She sniffed me with a sense of amusement. "Did you pee?" The dampness became even worse, and an indescribable smell emanated from the air. And Anne also came over, pointed at me and laughed. "Monster auntie wet the bed." Such an adult still wets the bed. It's so smelly and so stinky. I lowered my head and picked my fingers, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In these 3 years, when I found out that the person who thought he was saving me was actually the culprit who joined others to make me fall into the abyss, when I found out that the illusion was shattered. The person who said he loved me tightened the rope to hell without any mercy. Every day after that, I lived like this. When facing them, you have to bite your mouth tightly, bite until it bleeds, lower your head, and lower yourself into the soil to prevent your hatred from flowing out. Coming out of the bathroom, I calmed down and made dinner quietly. After the meal was ready, I went back to my room on the pretext of having no appetite. In fact, I seldom ate in the past 3 years, and if I ate, I would vomit in the middle of the night, which also made my body extremely weak. I put on my headphones, and after a rustling sound, I heard voices from the living room. Xingxuan Nen is about to go to elementary school. I don't want him to be bullied at school without a father. Hao Yibei's voice was forbearing and tactful. After she finished speaking, time seemed to stop. Hao Yibei's unmarried child 5 years ago was a well-known secret in the sports world. When I learned that she had an affair with Yan Xingxuan, I also thought that Nen was their child. However, in the past 3 years, I found that Yan Xingxuan was not very enthusiastic about Nen. It makes sense. If Hao Yibei really had Yan Xingxuan's child, how could he marry me? Seeing Yan Xingxuan's long silence, Hao Yibei gently reproached, "Do you dislike me? You clearly know that I was forced. It was agreed 5 years ago. You just temporarily stabilized her and prevented her from investigating the truth of the car accident." When the culprit said this, old memories came one after another. That day I worked overtime to revise the manuscript and didn't get home until 10 o'clock in the evening. I was walking on the sidewalk peacefully when a car came speeding. By the time I reacted, I had been knocked 50 meters away. The pain of my broken body made me faint instantly, and I woke up in a hospital bed. Yan Xingxuan stood in front of me with a pale and compassionate face. I thought he was sympathizing with my situation. Now think about it, I was so naive. He must have felt sad because he was about to marry me. The surveillance at the scene of the accident was broken. He said that the car lost control and hit me because of brake failure. After the police checked, they found that it was indeed the case. Now it seems that he asked someone to do all this in order to get rid of the drunk Hao Yibei. Hao Yibei's soft sobbing brought my thoughts back. Her voice was so soft that it could squeeze water out of it. Or, in the past 5 years. Have you really fallen in love with her? Without waiting for Yan Xingxuan to refute, I sneered. If he had feelings for me, how could he be so cruel? His ferocious expression 3 years ago is still vivid in my mind. It is obvious that he was afraid that I would come back to life in the next second. Sure enough, he quickly refuted. How is it possible? How can she, a cripple who lost both legs, deserve it? How can she deserve it? When I really heard him say this, my completely numb heart still ached. It must be because the room has not been ventilated for too long that I can't breathe. So, Xingxuan, we are the most suitable. Moreover, we will have another baby. A baby that belongs to both of us. Yan Xingxuan sighed, probably relieved. Hao Yibei said again, but if you divorce Wasiki, will she take most of your property? I just think it's very unfair. This is all earned by your hard work in the competition, and it has nothing to do with her. Yan Xingxuan answered ambiguously. Let me think about it. My heart sank suddenly, and I felt uneasy. I was sure they would not do it tonight. The wife of a popular sports star died in her own home. For Yan Xingxuan, it was a failure that tarnished his future. But, my palms were sweating. That nightmare had never stopped for a moment in the past 3 years. The figures of people around me who turned into demons and took my life always came in the middle of the night. I couldn't let it go. I couldn't get rid of it. Finally, when dawn came, I quietly left in the faint morning light and took a car to my hometown on the other side of the city. In the middle of the morning, Yan Xingxuan called me and asked me where I had been in an impatient tone. I told him that I went back to my hometown, and for fear that he would not believe it, I took out the message my father sent last night. Nini, your cousin's second baby is 1 month old. Remember to come to the banquet tomorrow. Yan Xingxuan did not doubt, but just reminded, remember to come back early. Yibei is used to the food you cook. At this moment, I heard the voice of Hao Yibei beside him. Xingxuan, why do you lose so much hair? There is a lot of hair in the bathroom. Yan Xingxuan seemed to touch his hair, and said impatiently, maybe it's too dry these days due to the change of seasons. In fact, it has been more than these days. It has been a long time, and I have cleaned it up before. I suddenly felt that there was no need to go back. Before he hung up the phone, I said, Yan Xingxuan, let's end it. The other side responded to me with silence. I didn't know if he was shocked by my decisiveness or was considering the division of property. Seeing that he didn't speak, I said again, I don't want your money. What a joke, he interrupted me, and I didn't understand what he said. Was Siki, where can you go if you leave me? You don't even have legs. Which man would want you? Until today, I have really seen clearly that there is no such thing as true love. He has only disliked me from beginning to end. 5 years ago, he said he fell in love with me at first sight, and was moved by my optimism and positivity. In fact, every word he said was a lie and a deception. I snorted coldly. Now I don't have to be afraid of him anymore. With you, I really can't go anywhere. An encounter that shouldn't have happened trapped me in a 150 square meter room without seeing the sun. My legs, my youth, my career, were all ruined by him. He actually had the nerve to ask me, "There is a divorce agreement in my bedside table. Sign it and you will be free." I kept this divorce agreement in the bedside table for 3 years, knowing that I had planned this for a long time. He was even more upset. I should be the one to say it's over. Who do you think you are? How many people have thrown themselves at me over the years? Don't blame me for your chastity for Howie Bay. After saying that, I hung up the phone, thinking of how angry he was on the other end of the phone. I felt refreshed. I wasn't worried at all that he would be unwilling to sign the divorce agreement. He brought Howie Bay and her daughter home with deliberate intention. Wasn't it just to drive me away? I also fulfilled his wish and didn't take a penny. Shouldn't he be grateful? The bug was still in the living room. I heard how eBay skillfully used tears to attack. Soon, Yan Xingxuan compromised. I'll sign. I stayed at home with peace of mind. And by the way, I bought a plane ticket to Las Vegas with my previous savings. Knowing that the 3 of them were going out on an auspicious day for marriage, I returned to Yan Xingxuan's house. I hired a housekeeper to clean every corner of the house carefully, and put away the things I had used and could not take away. I threw everything into the trash can and packed it up to take away. While my aunt wasn't paying attention, I also removed the bug installed under the sofa in the living room. I have very few memories of this family, to be honest. My marriage with Yan Xingxuan can be described as hasty. I just grabbed a life-saving straw in extreme sadness. But I didn't expect that the straw was a deadly poison. I checked it one last time, trying to make sure there was no trace of my life in this house. I gave the housekeeping aunt a reward of 10,000 yuan and asked her to promise not to say a word about this matter. In the afterglow of the sunset, I took a taxi to the airport. When I arrived in Las Vegas, I would be greeted by a rising sun. A phone call came in before takeoff. "Do you regret it?" the man said in a low voice. "Of course not." I had made up my mind. After that, I broke the phone card and threw it into the toilet sewer, and replaced it with a new card. My new life has just begun. Why should I regret it? After a long flight, when I opened my eyes, I saw the charming neon lights flashing above the city. I knew I had arrived at this city that never sleeps and was born in the desert. I once wrote a report about this city, and I fell in love with it as I got to know it better. So I plan to use it as the starting point of my new life. I can no longer be a reporter, but I can do some writing work. In short, I can support myself. I found a part-time writing job online. The money was not much. After all, my writing skills had been wasted for many years. So I planned to practice with this job. In this way, I wandered aimlessly on the streets during the day, occasionally went to the magnificent casinos to indulge myself, or followed the tour group to the surrounding deserts and canyons to see the natural scenery. At night, I gathered the wonderful ideas in my mind into sentences and wrote them down with my pen in my mouth. Unconsciously, I had traveled to many places with my wheelchair. 2 months later, domestic track and field athletes began to enter the preparation period. Howie Bay announced her withdrawal due to pregnancy, which caused an uproar on domestic social networking sites. The entry, "Howie Bay got pregnant twice before marriage," once topped the hot search list. I was confused. Didn't they go to get the marriage certificate on the day I left? Opening the comment area, many fans of Howie Bay were posting a secret marriage does not mean unmarried. Don't interfere too much in the private lives of athletes. Yes, Yan Xingxuan loves Howie Bay so much that he definitely doesn't want their marriage to become a topic of conversation. I continued to scroll down and saw a video of Yan Xingxuan training, and I stopped. "Xingxuan, what happened this time when you came back? Your state has been offline." "Coach, I'm sorry. I haven't been in high spirits recently." "Have you done all the examinations?" "I did. There are no problems. It may still be a matter of mentality. I will try my best to overcome it." The other athletes were full of fighting spirit and ready to go, but Yan Xingxuan looked depressed. with a large sunken area under his eyes. His hair was much thinner, and his complexion was not as good as before. I looked at him carefully, bit my fingernails, and secretly raised the corners of my lips. After settling in Las Vegas, I planted flowers in the yard again. I took good care of them and look forward to them growing strong in the near future. I finished writing a manuscript and sent it to the editor, then I clicked on the domestic hot searches. The entries, Yan Xingxuan and How eBay quarreled in the street, and Yan Xingxuan and How eBay scandal, were listed. I clicked on the first video, How eBay dragged in to block Yan Xingxuan at his training base. In just 2 months, the collagen in her face was severely lost and her luster was gone. Under the dark night sky, her face was sallow and hideous, like a shrew. Yan Xingxuan, what do you mean? Don't you want to recognize this child? Yan Xingxuan wiped the sweat from his hair. His hair was getting thinner and looked more like a Mediterranean under the street lights. He said to How eBay impatiently, can you please stop coming to the base to make trouble? Whether this child is mine or not is another matter. I don't want to marry you. Don't you understand what I'm saying? I did it with you during those few days. If it's not yours, then whose else could it be? You did it with me during those few days. What about other times? How eBay, you are a slut. Don't come to me again. Yan Xingxuan threw the towel on his shoulder and turned away. How eBay used his hands and feet to grab Yan Xingxuan and asked him to give an explanation. Xingxuan, don't you love me the most? We agreed to become a family, or did you hear someone say something? Was it Huasiki? What did that bitch say to you? Hearing my name, Yan Xingxuan waved his hand and shook How eBay away. Don't mention her to me. If it weren't for you, why would she divorce me? How eBay seemed unwilling to lose to me, and his pupils trembled. Do you regret it? Yes, I regret it. I fucking regret it, okay? I almost believed his hysterical look. How eBay whimpered, but she still refused to let go of her hands. Seeing this, and then rushed to Yan Xingxuan and hit him. Stinky dad, bad dad, why do you bully mom? Yan Xingxuan pushed in and out. Who the hell is your dad? I don't know where this bastard came from. Get out of the way. And then sat crookedly on the ground and cried with How eBay. How eBay choked and said, Yan Xingxuan, you can't give up on me, but I have your child, abort it. The 3 cold words echoed in the silent night sky. This is the true face of this man. The halo of the track and field champion was torn off, leaving only the most despicable soul. The video stopped here, and things fermented quickly. Within 20 minutes, the entire internet was boiling. When I exited the video, I accidentally clicked the like button, and then cancelled it immediately. The sun was very good in the afternoon. I watered the flowers in the yard and then lay in the rocking chair to bask in the sun. Just then, a domestic call came in, and I answered it without knowing why. It was that person. How did you find my cell phone number? There are not many people who like to eat domestic melons in Las Vegas, so just screen them one by one. Seeing that I didn't say anything, he said, do you want to get rid of me completely after you use me? I knew I had no ability to hide it from him, so I simply asked about what I was curious about. Why did Yan Xingxuan's attitude towards How eBay suddenly change 180 degrees? He pretended to be mysterious. It's just to add some spice to their dog-eat-dog fight? This is too explosive. Can I watch this video without a membership? There were a lot of people who supported their couple before. And this is more than just tearing each other apart. They even dug up their ancestors' graves. Yan Xingxuan is a scumbag. But How eBay's case hasn't been decided yet, right? I ate the melon that she was someone else's mistress hundreds of years ago. Doesn't the internet have memory? At that time, she wanted to use her son to get promoted, but failed. And the other party was very powerful, so the information revealed by the reporters was blocked. You spread rumors with just your mouth. Do you have any evidence? There are all kinds of things said on the internet, true and false, real and fake. Not long after, the Domestic Track and Field Sports Association announced that Yan Xingxuan and How eBay would be removed from the list, which caused heated discussions for a while. What everyone is most concerned about is Yan Xingxuan's preparation status. Someone claiming to be an insider revealed that his condition was particularly poor when he returned to the competition this time, and he looked 20 years older. He kept going to the hospital before he was removed from the list. All kinds of examinations have been done, and the symptoms have not been found yet. I waited for another 3 days, and the manuscript was passed. The editor also appreciated my literary talent. She said that I can always see the world from an unusual perspective. I said it might be because I lost my legs, so I see the world differently from people who are standing. She felt sad for my situation, but she said, I am very relieved that you can say it with an open mind. I think you have walked out of the accident. I hope so, but it seems that it is not enough. Soon, news came from China that Yan Xingxuan had collapsed at the airport. He lay on the ground motionless, shouting, "My legs, I can't move, who will help me up?" He pounded his legs with his fists in fear, but it didn't work at all. The legs he was proud of could no longer carry him to run. Not enough, Yan Xingxuan, who was taken away by the ambulance, cried day and night in the hospital. His hair fell off in clumps until it was completely gone. He vomited every day, and his appearance was haggard like a ghost. He could no longer walk and could only lie in bed to survive. In the end, Yan Xingxuan was diagnosed with a very rare heavy metal poisoning by the doctor, and he was told that because the toxins invaded the internal organs for a long time until the lethal amount was finally accumulated, there was no medicine to save him. Yan Xingxuan burst into tears. "Doctor, you have a way, right? Save me, please save me." After receiving the helpless signal from the doctor, he did not give up and went to more than a dozen hospitals. And each of them replied to him that they were powerless. He only had less than 3 months to live. It seemed that it was enough. The huge black hole of emptiness in my heart was finally filled, and I laughed happily. That person called again. "Don't you want to witness your victory with your own eyes?" I spent a long winter in Las Vegas. After learning that Yan Xingxuan received a critical illness notice, I returned to China. I never expected that person would be waiting for me at the airport, my psychiatrist, Shen Mukin. The airport was crowded with people. I pretended to ignore him as he walked by, but he still stopped me. His voice was low and magnetic. "Wasiki, you have already thrown me away once." My eyebrows moved. 5 months ago, when I broke the mobile phone card and threw it into the sewer. I wanted to cut off all contact with him. I don't want to drag him down. This time, it's my turn to come to your door. Whether it is to go to perfection or to die, it has nothing to do with you. Although I was reborn after death 3 years ago, I was left with serious psychological trauma. I didn't dare to speak out in front of Yan Xingxuan. I endured facing his disgusting and twisted face and secretly looked for a psychiatrist behind my back. In every night of repeated insomnia, every time I wanted to vomit but had to show love, it was Shen Mukin who healed me. His voice is the best medicine, but I chose to repay kindness with hatred. He put his arm around my shoulders and wiped the moisture from the corners of my eyes. I asked him what he was doing. He raised the corners of his lips, his eyes flashing with wit. "I'm here to help you. You may not know that men have a morbid desire to control women who have been with them. When he finds that you, who he has devalued to worthless, have a better life and a better partner, his jealousy will burn him out, as expected of a psychologist. He knows how to kill people without blood, but with every blow. However, better partner. Are you talking about you?" Shen Mukin's mouth tilted. I still have this confidence. When I arrived at the hospital, through the glass window of the intensive care unit, I could see Yan Xingxuan hanging on to the ventilator with only one breath left. I explained my identity to the medical staff and went in to visit with a bouquet of flowers and a box of food. Seeing me coming, Yan Xingxuan's turbid and dark eyes lit up for a moment. After seeing Shen Mukin greeting him outside the ICU, his face changed immediately, and he tried to squeeze out a complete sentence from his throat. "See, he is." I didn't have the patience to listen to it. After putting the flowers in the vase, I opened the lunchbox and picked up the spoon to feed him. At first, he was still happy to eat the long-lost meal, eating it bite by bite, and suddenly, he realized something. The divorce agreement that had been prepared long ago. I insisted on cooking despite being spurned, insulted and abused. My pupils dilated rapidly, and he pushed me away with his trembling and shriveled wrists, and the food was scattered all over the floor. He was so anxious that he couldn't speak. I picked up the rice spoon and apologized to the nurse beside him. "Sorry, it splashed on you." He struggled to touch the corner of the nurse's clothes, and his distorted face seemed to be hoarsely asking for help. No, save me, please save me." But he couldn't shout, just like me 3 years ago. At that time, I was also terrified and wanted to make a sound. My body and facial features were all clamoring, "Save me, please," but he didn't listen. And there was even a hint of pleasure on his face. Just like me now, he couldn't eat, and his whole body was shaking like a sieve on the hospital bed. I sighed with regret, tucked in the corners of the quilt for him, and whispered in his ear, "The day you die, I will definitely make a big fuss." 3 days later, he was completely dead, and the flowers I gave him fell to the ground. "These are the broken flowers I carefully nurtured for you. Are you satisfied?" When I was at home playing with my nephew who was a few months old, the police found me, based on the surveillance video in the hospital. They suspected that I was involved in the case of Yan Xingxuan's heavy metal poisoning. The young police officer sat opposite me. Your husband Yan Xingxuan cheated on me. After investigation, he brought that woman home to live in November last year. These reasons constitute your motive for murder. Comrade police officer, I didn't know he cheated on me. As for bringing another woman home, his excuse was that Howie Bei and her son were staying with him for a while. In addition, he is my ex-husband. I have rehearsed all the possibilities thousands of times, and I can't make a mistake. Okay, then what is the reason for you to divorce your ex-husband? I can't live anymore. There are so many people getting divorced. You can't doubt me just because I want to divorce him, right? Or do you think, officer, that I, a monster without legs, should not have the right to pursue happiness? He said, Annan is still young, and children speak without restraint. Save him. She was originally going to be taken to another interrogation room, but she suddenly broke in, pointed at my nose and cursed, was Siki, you are really haunting. It's you who killed Xingxuan. We could have been very happy, but you ruined it. She was the mistress. I really don't know where she got the face to do it. You poisoned the food. I saw it. Why don't you arrest her and put her in jail? I was shocked. Did she really see it? Then I thought, this is impossible. According to her temper, if she found out that I tampered with the food, wouldn't she go crazy on the spot? How could she wait until now? I gave myself courage. If I poisoned, how come you and Annan are fine? I turned to the police officer and said, Comrade police, she is crazy. Can her words be used as evidence? The police officer in front of me waved his hands helplessly and asked his colleagues to take the crazy woman away. In the end, I was acquitted because of insufficient evidence. The police also found Shinmyukin, but I was particularly cautious in contacting him and did not leave any evidence that was favorable to the police, like the car accident 5 years ago. Yan Xingxuan and I were cleared. After the incident, I flew back to Las Vegas and continued my flower-growing business, writing articles, and enjoying life. Shinmyukin often flew over to see me and seduced me with his handsome face that made people and gods angry. I was unmoved, because what I remember most clearly is always his voice. One night, I tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep, and I said to him timidly, Dr. Shin, I won't get better unless he dies. After hearing what I said, Shinmyukin didn't say some high-sounding words, didn't persuade me to put down the butcher knife, and didn't say that I should learn to look forward. Instead, he really thought about the feasibility of his death. I asked him why he helped me without hesitation. His voice seemed to come from an ancient cave, with the Buddha's nature of saving all living beings. I don't want a person who has committed all kinds of evil to become your lifelong bleeding wound. Your purpose is not to kill, but to save yourself. There is nothing wrong with saving yourself. Save yourself, thousands and thousands of times. I am not wrong.